Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the Taco Tuesday podcast. This is Brandon.
And this is me, your boy.
Yeah.
It's Jake. It's Jake. I'm Jake.
There we go. We are coming to you not so live, but in the very, very close past from my living room.
That's kind of weird to think about, man. We're in the past right now.
Right. Well, when they hear this.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Oh.
So,
all right.
No, let's live in the moment. We're with you in your car stereo. We're the ghost of FM past. Boo. So we got a couple things on the agenda for today. You got a show coming up tomorrow, or depending on when you're listening to this, could be today, but Wednesday, April 18th at, I think it's 8 o'clock. I don't know. I'm the first one up on this show, and I don't know how good it's going to be. I'm a little nervous. That you're not selling the show, man. Basically, if I'm
I don't need to. Here's the thing, though. If I do a stand-up show and I think, oh man, I don't know if this crowd, like we're at a winery, right? Like I don't know if this crowd is going to like me. They're going to like Chris or somebody else who's on the show,
right?
And so it's fine. The show itself will go on without me. I just may die in the show.
Fair.
Do you understand?
It's like Lost.
Yeah.
You may die. Who knows?
I don't know.
It's going to be a good show, though.
It will be a good show. There's for sure some good storytellers on it.
Right.
My brother is on the show. It's going to be the first show that we've done together.
Oh, yeah? Not together, but on the same billing, but you're not, like, sharing the stage at the same time, right?
No. He's going up later.
Cool.
He's telling a party story. I'm telling a party story. Here's the thing. I haven't partied in a long time, so all of my party story, the story I'm telling happened 12 years ago, and so the last few days I've been trying to, like, piece it back together, because I just remember bits and pieces of, I guess that's, yeah, so I know bits and pieces, but here's the thing. They want a 10 to 15 minute story, and the story that I'm thinking of, if I told it just like, hey, this is a funny ththing that happened to me, it'd be like 2 minutes, So I'm trying to, kind of...
So you got to embellish.
Well, yeah, you got to embellish. You need to give a little detail. You need to add some jokes to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think the story itself is okay. It's just where it's at right now, it needs a little more tension, a little more climax.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, see, and that's...
Well, you've heard the story. I told you. I told it to you.
That's the... I don't know. I guess that's the opposite of me. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm a good storyteller.
Yeah.
But I am a storyteller. Like,
I think you are a good storyteller.
Well, that's the thing. That's all in the eye of the beholder, I guess. But for the most part, I can't say, oh yeah, I'm a good storyteller. I don't feel that way about myself. But I will say that I'm a storyteller in the fact that when I'm telling a story, I tend to embellish just about everything.
Right.
Like I end up elongating whatever facts or exaggerating facts in it to make what could have been a 45-second ordeal into a 10-minute thing.
Right.
And by that definition, I'm a storyteller. Not saying I'm good, whatever, but I tend to find it difficult to just keep things short.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's probably a confidence issue,
Okay.
So I think just kind of in general, like, not saying that you're super confident in everything, but you're confident in that, and so it's easier, I think, for you to not. I don't know. I just always feel like I'm wasting people's time, and it's just it's a personal thing that I have.
I don't know. I think subconsciously I'm like, haha, I wasted your time. like, haha, you're never gonna get that back, fucking sucker.
See, I think, oh god, they're never gonna want to talk to me ever again because I'm just a bad storyteller who wastes their time.
Well, see, I've spent most of my life looking at everybody like, hell
right, cool.
yeah. I've spent most of my life feeling like everybody I talk to is just looking at me like, I can't wait to stop talking to you and like walk away.
Yeah,
so
that's what I think too.
So by this time, it's gotten to that point that I'm just like, yeah, this is probably my last time talking to whoever's in front of me. So it's best to make peace with it and get out of it whatever I can, or whatever we can from this conversation.
Right.
So it's just natural reaction to me, or for me now, to look at whoever I'm talking to in the moment and be like, yeah, we're never going to speak again.
I should try that maybe. I don't know.
It's very relaxing.
Is it therapeutic?
Very much so. It's and that's the thing. I'll get home and reminisce and feel like, man, I wish I still had this person in my life, or I still wish I talked to this person, or whatever, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, you have to make peace with the fact that some people are just gonna go, I didn't really care about them the way they cared about me.
Yeah.
And they're going to go find something else to do. Like, I peeked in on Facebook a couple days ago.
Oh.
And
how'd that go?
Oh, it was not as interesting as I thought it would be.
Right.
But I peeked in on Facebook a couple days ago and just kind of looked around, see if the landscape the landscape had changed.
Yeah.
And kind of peeked in on a few select people, and it's a lot of like some people that I haven't heard from in a while, like some people that don't text me or don't call or don't answer my texts or my calls, that kind of thing. Just like maybe they're going through shit. Maybe I need to keep checking in on them to make sure like they're holding it together. They're still in one piece, that kind of thing.
Are they holding it together?
It definitely looks like they're lying to themselves in order to make it seem like they're holding it all together.
Right.
So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you do your thing. Like, I'm not gonna knock you off your happy little pedestal that you seem to have made for yourself. That kind of thing.
Sure.
So I don't know. There's one instance where I peeked in and somebody made the comment of, I've recently kicked a lot of toxic people out of my life, and blah, blah, blah. Like, but you're one of the toxic people.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't realize that you're somehow making your life worse by the decisions you made, and he's like, oh, I got rid of this person. They were the ones making my life worse.
Right.
You have to understand that at some point, the problem isn't always the branches or I can't think of a euphemism for it right now, but sometimes it's the root.
Right.
Sometimes it's the root of the tree.
Good. I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe you're thinking like a barnacle on a rock. It's not the barnacles; it's the rock.
Yeah. or something like that. I don't know enough about rocks or barnacles, but just that kind of thing. And even then, I'm not like, well, good riddance. They got rid of me or whatever. I'm like, man, I wish I could just sit down with the people that do that, or this person in particular, and be like, come on, like, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. But that's the thing. I can't. No one person can change how somebody else views their world. That's that's them.
And just to bring it back, I mean, I think taking that idea and bring it back to the thing is like, my idea of what this show is going to be is from my own like kind of perfectionist point of view.
Yeah.
Which is silly. The truth of it is that I think there's probably going to be a good crowd tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of people. Some people are going to laugh. Some people are not going to laugh. Some people will like it. Some people won't give much of a shit. And then the next day, I'm going to be back in the Raccoon Motel to host a show and do jokes like I normally do. Like, storytelling just isn't my forte. It doesn't mean that I can't go and have a good time. Maybe some people laugh. Maybe some people won't. Maybe some people will think exactly like I do and be like, well, it was kind of anticlimactic, but it was a fine story.
Yeah.
You know, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's, you know, and I also don't want to minimize it, but it's not going to be the end of the world if I don't do great.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think you're also looking at telling your story as you would a stand-up set.
I'm
in the fact
very
that
much
you're
thinking of it like this is not happening, like that kind of.
You're looking at it like it's going to have a big poppy finish, and maybe it's just like that's my party story.
Yeah,
and they'll be like, all right, and then you walk off, and that's that.
Yeah, I think. Well, you know, and I kind of told you the story
before we started. Recording.
Before we started, I told Brandon the story that I'm going to tell, and I think, you know, essentially what will work is at the end just a recap of everything that happened, because as it is right now, it's not terribly climactic. It's not bad,
right?
But you know, it's just one of those things where
it's a story.
I think, you know, if you have been a comedian for a long time, or if you're kind of a natural storyteller, you kind of know like the rhythm of how a good story should go,
right?
And that's just not what I do. Still have a good time though, probably.
Hell yeah! No,
there's definitely funny parts to it.
Yeah, know? Exactly. And that's
which
what
is all I care about.
And that's what you got to remember is that you may not think. Well, and that's the thing. You've heard your story before. You lived your story. Like
right.
You right now you're thinking, oh, it may be interesting to somebody else, and now you're kind of having those pre-show second thoughts, whatever.
Right.
But who's to say that somebody hears your story and goes, oh my God, I have a story just like that, or,
right.
or I know what you're going through, or know what you went through, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it does have enough funny parts in it to keep people interested. So
right.
that is not something you have to worry about.
Yeah, dude. So I was telling Brandon this story about when I was in the Navy, and just like thinking about my buddy Shaq, who owned the house. He was this Pakistani guy, super nice guy, real asshole when he got drunk, and he just talked a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite part about Shaq. Like I would like goad him just so that he would talk shit, because it made me laugh so much.
Well, and see, that's the thing right there. Mm-hmm. That was different from when you were telling me the story before we started recording. You were very quick with your descriptions, that kind of thing. Talk about him like you're talking about a friend.
Yeah.
Like, talk about each of the guys. You know, go into a little bit more detail about the guys. That way, you know, the audience can kind of get behind you and like see how you feel about your friend. Because if they feel like you're too short and sweet with their descriptions, or that you're kind of not showing interest in their description, they're thinking, oh, that's a friend that we don't really need to give a shit about, because the guy telling the story doesn't give a shit about him. Right.
And honestly, like the key parts of that story are like the fight that happened, because that happened. And here, if you're listening to this and you don't go to the Raccoon Motel tomorrow, because you probably won't, in the story, my buddy got in a fight with this guy that was like twice his size and beat him up. And in the story, I say that he got arrested, but he really didn't get arrested. You know, we just went back in, and the guy was like so the dude was this I don't know, I would imagine he was like a Pacific Islander. He looked like a sumo wrestler, right?
Samoan?
Yeah, he might have been Samoan.
Yeah. I know stuff.
But he was like, I don't know, maybe 6 foot, like 280. I mean, just a big dude. And my buddy just, you know, beat the shit out of him real, like, quickly. You know, just like a few punches to the stomach and face, and the guy fell down. And it was just like, you were talking so much shit, like 10 minutes ago at this poker table.